same, and we find this as a very unique opportunity to review our work program, to look at how we address the most pressing challenges related to livestock, to crop production, to marketing, to fisheries, to marine resources, and everything else that comes under that. So today's meeting provides opportunities for us to connect as for the enhancement of the sector so that we can engage in meaningful dialogue. If we have to move forward, we must evaluate the period and honestly and seriously evaluate the period gone and look at what is before us to make sure we are on track, linked to our overall strategy and objectives of the ministries and department. So it provides an opportunity for alignment and creates a shared perspective with all our stakeholders. We must know what has been done, what problems we need to solve, who is doing what, and to ensure accountability. The realities of our sectors, its strengths, its weaknesses, its opportunities, its shortcomings are no secret. We live in a small federation, and people know what our challenges are, sometimes even more than we do. So the growing awareness of the importance of agriculture and fisheries. There is a growing awareness, and even more so now during this COVID time, the growing awareness of the importance of agriculture, of fisheries, the economic development potential, the fears about food security, they have all combined to provide a substantive support for the sector, and we are seeing that more than ever. And also for the sustainable agriculture and fisheries efforts that we are implementing across the Federation. And we are doing this jointly with our brothers and sisters in Nevis. We must ensure that we are on the same page. Next year we'll be going into the formation of policies, national policies. And where one is strong, we can use the resources of each other and strengthen the entire Federation. The management, the administration, the technical staff of the ministry and the department must remain dedicated more than ever to supporting and growing agriculture and fisheries in St. Kitts Nevis. The decrease in the nation's revenue due to COVID-19 pandemic has required us to become even more efficient and innovative in our mission to provide the best possible services and meet our demands. Still, we must realize that our services to the agriculture and fishing industries are even more important during these difficult times. And it is never far from the minds of our farmers, our officials, our agro-processors who are on the front line of the economic challenge. We must address the challenge that plagues us and prevent the enhancement of the sector that our nation deserves. From the challenges of the public market must be addressed. The abattoir services, like support to livestock farmers, ensuring the availability of feed for poultry farmers, strengthening and supporting the efforts of the fisher folk in food security, proper planning and crop production, decreasing our import bill, ensuring water is available to our farmers, and providing marketing support in our Buy Local campaign. These are critical to the enhancement. This campaign, the local Eat Local and Buy Local campaign, resonates loud for us in agriculture and fisheries, as it encourages to support local agriculture. A lot of work to be done in our sector, and we need to get serious about doing it. The ministry actively seeks to protect existing farm areas and promote increased access to and productive use of thousands of acres of prime agricultural lands that we have throughout the island. We are undertaking broad planning and economic development efforts to ensure the availability of agricultural and fishing resources to facilitate the growth that we need in agricultural and fishing businesses. Our minister has always echoed the need for enhancement, for moving forward and taking things from where we met it to further in terms of advancement. We must move beyond the weaknesses that seriously harms us, that seriously harms the sector, whether they be technical staff who act in a personal capacity in direct competition with our farmers and not as representative of the ministry and its departments or employees who don't show up for work. When they show up, they do nothing. We must move beyond those things that harm us and haunt us. Because if we're to make this work, then all hands must be on deck, in the soil, on the fish, to ensure that we move our systems forward. We must wipe from the minds of our livestock and crop farmers and fishers any notion that our hands must be greased in order for them to receive the assistance that they need. We must wipe those things from their mind. Ensure that our actions do not support any such thoughts. Let me encourage the work that is going on currently, inspired by our Honorable Minister. And in this initiative for meetings like these was to set the agenda to enhance the sector. And I must also commend the staff of PPU, Policy and Planning Unit, in the efforts in coordinating today's meeting, the support from the Agricultural Development Unit, the management of both departments, and to commend highly our brothers and sisters who have traveled from Nevis to join us in this endeavor. Let me also use the opportune moment to commend those who have repositioned themselves and have caught the vision of enhancing our sector that does more to feed people and improve our performance in terms of our contribution to the economic well-being of our nation. To those who envision a stronger agriculture sector, a stronger fishery sector, and are in the field supporting our farmers, are on the banks of the seashore supporting our fishermen, we say thanks. To those who ensure that we are there for our fishermen and our farmers, we say thank you, and let us continue to move forward. So in conclusion of my remarks, in terms of this particular part of our meeting, I want us to continue to review, and in our review include an assessment of the challenges that affect the implementation of our programs. I want to encourage you to dream again, to envision again, towards the full realization of our 2030 agenda for sustainable development. Let us get excited about the opportunities we have and take advantage of this window of opportunity that has been thrown open to us in our nation as a result of COVID, as a result of the awareness now that has been created, as a result of the various encouragement that has been given from various platforms. Let us take advantage of this opportunity and enhance our sector. I want to encourage us to participate openly, and let us receive these reports and act on them, because this is not a talk show. It is what we have done, we have done. Where we are moving, we are serious. So what we present, our job is to make sure we do what we ought to do in terms of these proposals that we have presented this morning. I want to thank you for coming and for joining us. Let us have a successful day as we continue going forward. Thank you.
Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Resources.
Thank you very much, Master of Ceremonies, and a pleasant good morning to everyone. The protocol was established earlier, and it was well established. I don't know if I should interfere with it, but let me just indulge for a little bit and just recognize our Permanent Secretary, Mr. Ron Dublin Collins. I recognize Permanent Secretary in the Ministry Department of Agriculture from Nevis, Mr. Huey Sargent, Assistant Secretaries, Directors, Supervisors. I don't see any of our allied agencies here, but I know we do have someone who represents, to some extent, an extension officer who is now with us, Republic of China, Taiwan. But I want to welcome all of our cooperatives and all of the well-wishers of agriculture, and those of us who work with the Department of Ministry of Agriculture who are here this morning at this important reporting session. It is indeed my pleasure being here this morning. This will be my first as the new Minister of Agriculture for the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. And I do believe that the Permanent Secretary would have laid out a significant roadmap, and he was so animated and so energetic in his presentation. He tells me that he himself seemed to have bought into the fact that we need to do more in agriculture, and we are going to do more, and we are doing more, and will do more. And he has asserted that this morning in his presentation. I want to commend you, Mr. Pierce, because you sound just like myself in terms of how I normally would want to approach my work and what I need to do in terms of handling any of the responsibilities that are presented to me. But this morning, like I said, it is indeed my pleasure, and I'm happy to be here. And I won't be long because, of course, you have come to hear the reports that are going to be presented by all of the various subsectors within the various departments that falls under the Ministry and Department of Agriculture, whether it be in the crop, in the area of crop production, livestock, fisheries. You will hear all of those reports this morning. Now, what are we going to do with these reports when we hear them? Meaning the data that is presented and also the information that all of these subsectors will present to us. What are we going to do with that information? We're not just going to sit on that information and say it sounds good or that does not sound good enough. We are going to utilize the data that is presented. We're going to utilize the information that is presented to us as well, and also use that to shape policies and programs moving into the new year. The Permanent Secretary was correct that what is gone is gone. What is before us is what we are most importantly thinking about and most important to us, I must say. And as such, once we listen to what will be presented here today, that information will help us to shape our policies moving forward, whether in land distribution, whether in water, whether in crop production. How can we increase that and improve on what we are delivering to our farmers? Those are the things that we are hoping to accomplish with what will be presented here this morning. I will say to all of us that with this new thrust that we have in agriculture, the whole Federation is looking towards the Department and Ministry of Agriculture to deliver. And when they may deliver something substantial so we can say that we are moving in the right direction in pushing agriculture to the heights that we know we can get to in this Federation. Not only the Federation, the administration has given us a mandate. We have had a stimulus package that we have been working with over the last 6 months or more. There have been some persons and farmers that is who have benefited from those stimulus packages. We want to ensure that all of these inputs that we're putting into agriculture, we realize some benefits in the end. And that is why when we say we are serious about the direction in which we are trying to push agriculture, I don't think we smile when we say that. I believe there's some sense of seriousness. And I will say to you, and I always do that, from the standpoint of the minister, I don't like to fail. Honestly, I don't like to fail. And if you know me or know anything about myself, then you'll know that that statement is profound in many ways. And why I say that is because I'm trying to use that as a form of encouragement to all of us, farmers, whether livestock or crop, fisher folks. We want to encourage you, we want to encourage all of the members of the Department of Agriculture and the Ministry to use the tools that are available to us, the resources that are available to us to build agriculture into a sustainable sector. And that is why I'm excited. That is why I talk with some degree of confidence, because I know we'll all buy into it, and as a result, the entire Federation of St. and Nevis will be that much better. I want to at this point as well say to us that we do have some tremendous support that we continue to get from our allied agencies. I mentioned the Republic of China, Taiwan before. I also want to mention Cardiff and ICA. But I will say as well, in the coming year, we'll be expecting more from these institutions. They are among us, or they are with us, and we need to utilize them more. So I want us to keep that in mind from the Ministry and Department standpoint, that they have a lot to offer. And we cannot do it on our own. We cannot do it with the resources or the, I would say, the small amount of resources that we have. They have more than us, whether in the area of training, whether it's in the area of money. We are going to lean on our allied agencies to help us deliver a sector that will be sound, secure, and sustainable going into the future. Now, I won't be long because I came expecting to hear some glowing reports. And I see we have quite a number of areas that we'll be hearing from. Fisheries, compliance unit, administrative unit, data information unit, aquaculture unit, marine management, and also extension unit that is under, all that is just under the Department of Fisheries and Marine Resources. Then we have the crop side of it to hear from, which comes under the Department of Agriculture, veterinary communication, plant quarantine, agro-processing division, engineering unit, animal health, livestock production unit, land management and compliance unit, and of course crop production. That's a lot of information to be heard today. We'll listen, we'll digest, assimilate however you want to do it, we'll do all that is necessary. Then we will critique these information and then we'll make the necessary decisions moving forward. With that said, I want to wish this session well today. I know everyone has come prepared and ready to go, so I won't keep you back any longer. I'll give you a chance to present, and as the minister, I'll sit and listen and participate. But ultimately, essentially what we're trying to get out of these reporting sessions are the information that will help us to guide policies and programs moving into the future, and of course, ensuring that we're building a sound and sustainable sector here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. I want to thank you very much for listening, and let us participate. Don't be afraid to make your voice be heard this morning. Thank you very much.
Right, we are about ready to get into the main feature of today's event. We have many stars of the show today, 16 of them to be exact. And as Minister indicated, yes, we will be here for some time and we expect it to be fully engaged. So to keep us on track, we're going to set certain norms, some very simple norms. Number one, please silence your devices. Let's go back to the days of being in class, a college classroom or high school classroom to some extent. Take care of your personal business as needed. We will entertain questions after each presentation, but remember we have 16, so let's keep it short. For those of us who have pressing questions that we just can't get to, we have established a parking lot. If you look to the table on my left, there's a little bowl with some sheets of paper. Please feel free, write down your question, leave it there. We will try our best to address those questions and post it somewhere, perhaps on the Facebook page, or reach out to you directly. So please utilize the parking lot. And finally, try your best to remain fully engaged. Let's have mutual respect. Those individuals who are coming up here, you know, it's not easy to present in front of a room full of intimidating faces. All right, so let's jump right into it, and we are going to get started with the Department of Fisheries and Marine Resources. Coming up, we have the Compliance Unit.
Presenting compliance unit conservation. So my duties and responsibilities generally entails executing department's mandate, and that is to ensure conservation management, development, and sustainable use of our marine resources, particularly when it comes to our marine users and the fishing vessels, making sure that they adhere to policies and requirements adhere to the laws of safety and needs. So, ocean governance in general must keep these strict standards, not just locally, but it has implications regionally and internationally, as we are party to a number of conventions that bind us to these requirements. So it is important that we strictly enforce and implement the laws as to overall generally execute the department's mandates. So in presenting our previous year and the previous quarters, I'm just going to highlight what has been done. And one of the great achievements was the distribution of our vessel monitoring system to over 80 fishers. And this was a step moving forward to ensuring that all fishers are equipped, particularly regarding safety at sea. We want to ensure that when they go out, they make it back home. And this was an initiative that helped us to ensure that they do so. We also have the legal aspect of the basic fisher training, where all newly introduced fishers or past fishers are now required to train. And a particular course or aspect of the training is informing them about the legal and policies within the department that they must adhere to. We have confirmed also that the registration of our high seas fishing fleet in efforts to revamp it, where St. Kitts and Nevis would have control of who is being registered under our flag and not just outsourcing our vessels on the high seas to foreign agency. We want to have the responsibility to know and to vet who is flying the flag of St. Kitts and Nevis on the high seas. And I say high seas, I mean areas beyond the national jurisdiction of St. Kitts and Nevis. And so we have confirmed that in order to ensure transparency and honesty, we would take control of this particular initiative. We are also contributing to a new draft agreement that is currently under works on the United Nations regarding the operations of any vessel on the high seas. If you don't know that, all nations have national jurisdiction once they have a coastline. However, beyond the 200 nautical miles, no one or no country has particular jurisdiction. So they are required to fish or harvest as much as they want to without restrictions. However, this new draft document is hoping to put particular measures in these areas where it comes to genetic resources, marine management, or protected because even though these activities take place beyond our jurisdiction, they have implications locally. Fish, marine resources, they are stationary and they transverse various boundaries. So this agreement aims to put some measures in protecting our marine resources, although they are on the high seas. Some of the challenges and also solutions in the department, particularly when it comes to compliance, we are listening, is lack of enforcement. We need to have the manpower to be able to actively, daily monitor what is going on in our waters, ensuring that fishers are complying with the laws and regulation and not waiting until there is an incident to investigate. So in increasing the mechanism of enforcement, we could prevent a lot of illegal, unregulated, and unreported activities that we have in our waters. Another challenge is we have an updated act which was passed in 2016, however, we are still operating under our own regulation. So we are hoping to get our accompanying regulations to be passed in order for us to effectively and efficiently implement our duties. Monitoring control has been a system in place where we can stay within our department and in our office and observe and survey what is going on out at sea. Also, staff training requirements in these areas are also important. how do we move forward and what is our future plans? Is revising and improving what we currently have in place. Yes, we are awaiting the approval of regulations, however, we can work with what we have. We do have an act, updated act, and it still requires us to implement certain duties. And we also have certain certain fees are also in the act, so it's not that we are all hands are tied, but we do still have certain powers to do certain activities under the act. Harmonization regarding our operations and changing of both departments, safety and needs. Although we might execute certain aspects differently, other aspects we must be harmonized in doing them. Certain forms must be the same, certain protocols must be the same. And so, in also training, we hope to do more with both departments in this regard. Also under the current act, we have the responsibility of operationalizing certain activities. One of them is the formulation of committees, an advisory committee, fisheries advisory committee, appeals committee, and these are also aspects which must be in place. Identify authorized persons who we say is responsible to enforce the law, who is responsible to board a vessel, who we have as observers. This is also something that we can establish. And a general area or register of licenses and vessels, whether it be fishers, whether it be vessels, we must have a point of contact where if any regional organization or body requested information about fleet size, we must be able to access it and submit it in a timely manner. And as I previously stated, we can do all this in what we currently have and work with. We just need to ensure that we are engaged, we are motivated to execute the department's mandate. And in that, I come to the end of my presentation.
Any questions? Thank you. We're going to move right along. Do we have any questions? No. Wow. Excellent, Professor. Moving right along. Administrative units.
Good morning. My name is Delsa Brooks, presently in charge of the administrative unit in the Department of Marine Resources. With responsibilities such as facilitating and coordinating the provision of support training services, also to review and implement changes to documentation and processes to ensure efficiency and effectiveness. Also ensuring harmonized and standardized procedures to facilitate trade of fish or fishery products. Tasked with also to publish and analyze attendance records. Last but not least, the reporting of fishers and vessels registration data, as well as duty-free concession request data. Presented here is the number of duty-free requests for the period of January to September 2019, where we have a total of 30 requests of duty-free. In 2020, we have a total request of 44. What we have here on the slide is the total number of fisher registered. The figures that you're seeing here are a reflection of the history of compiled data. For 2019, we have 1,156 registered fishers. In 2020, 1,243 registered fishers. Here we have the total of registered vessels for 2019, which shows 576 registered fishing vessels locally. In 2020, we have a total of 588 fishing vessels. Licensed vessels for 2019 is a total of 115 vessels, and this is a reflection for January to September 2019. In 2020, we have a total of 110 licensed vessels. In the fish export data for the period of 2019, January to September, we have a total of fish exported 6,075.78 pounds of fish versus the figure for 2020, which shows that we have a total of 1,844.22 pounds of fish exported. Conch export for the period of January to September 2019, we have 16,754.71 pounds exported. When you look at 2020, we have 23,196.26 pounds. For lobster, for the period of January to September 2019, we had 1,158.95 pounds, and for 2020, 25.72 pounds. The challenges that we face in the Department of Marine Resources are finances, customer service training, and human resource. We basically, in the administrative unit, would recommend a centralized, user-friendly database with full capabilities for recording, analyzing, and extracting of financial, fishery-related, and ecosystem data. In the customer service training aspect, to improve the services offered by the Department of Marine Resources and improvement of additional and existing staff skills. Plans for the Department of Marine Resources. The intent for the admin unit is to develop an operations and procedure manual, which will have the intent of providing clear and succinct information on the operations and procedures to improve the institutional and
click go live for me something.
That's the problem. So those tweets and we're going to be church What you mean?
They just want to speak.
Yeah, yeah.
They just want to speak.
No, it's when you take this as a problem for nothing. Don't put it in the color so you should get confidential.
They never ask me for a conversation.